More Stanley Parable. So I am loving this game. If you haven't noticed, based on the fact that this is, I think, the 8th episode we've done of it. Uh, it's so good. It's so good, but it also messes with your brain because you think, what if I did this? What if I did that? What if this? Maybe this? When will I get the true ending? Is there a true ending? Probably not. So, we're going to try going down those stairs to our boss's office. If this is your first episode of the Stanley Parable of mine that you're watching, you're probably going to want to go back and watch the first ones first. It'll make a little more sense. Long story short, there's a narrator. We can listen to the narrator. We can choose not to listen to the narrator. My goal is to find out every option that we can do in this game because my brain needs to know, and yours probably does too. If not, if you just want to join me today, well then join me today. We're listening to a narrator, maybe. Alright, here we go. Stanley Parable. Boss's office is where we're headed. After we get through the loading screen. Whew. Somebody's texting me. I love you, but not right now. I'm doing some recording. You might watch this, so I'll put a check mark. What are you saying? Old men flirting with you at work. You know what? Just accept it. Just accept it. Oh, it's taking longer to load than normal. Long loading screen. It just wanted me to reply to that text.
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
I know. We've done this before. All right, let's get out of here.
All of his co-workers were gone.
Yep, we're aware.
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
All right.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
So this is the point that if we go up the stairs, I'm pretty sure we've done everything there is to do past the up the stairs portion. This is our first little turning point. So if we go up the stairs, we can either accidentally nuclear explode the facility, we can go live our life in some virtual reality happy world, or we can try to escape and be told that essentially we have to quit the game because when we play the game, by playing the game, we're feeding Stanley and feeding the narrator, and it creates this outward look at us as a person as opposed to us playing a game. It lets us know, okay, we're just going to go down. Press this. Nope, that does nothing. Okay, this is a new area for
But
us.
Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss. Admitting he had left his post during work hours, he might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all? None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down?
Oh my goodness!
Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming, he yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground.
Oh!
Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay.
Still here.
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black. This is the story of a woman named Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy, this much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day, the very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
Okay. All right, so that's another one in the bucket there for different endings of the Stanley Parable. I don't know how I feel about that one. That one makes me question a lot of things in life. My hair's getting all crazy because I'm getting all frazzled. Okay, so we go down the stairs. We are in a dream, but we're also a crazy person. Who was Mariella? Was Mary? Was she coming to take our job? Was she becoming the new Stanley? I don't know anymore. What's real? what matters. Where am I, and where am I? Am I just a Stanley in your computer? Do I actually exist, or am I like confined to the bounds of YouTube as a Stanley of some kind? Ah, why? Okay. All right, because this is what we're doing. I'm gonna see you in the next episode that we do of the Stanley Parable. And I think we've explored everything we can from that left door, and we're going to start looking at the right door. So, I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now. I hope I'm real.